Mangle from FNAF 2.
With only a few days into the second movie, my excitement level is through the roof. I thought, hey, let me watch the first movie again, just so I can look back on what we got 2 years ago, to prepare for the infamous sequel. And well, I have to say, the FNAF movie was one of my best movie experiences. The hype back then was so real. I remember in my theater I saw a kid on top of the stairs with a spring bunny mask, and I don't know, the child inside of me just went complete nuts. So of course, this film means a lot to me, but one thing stood out to me: the titular antagonist for the film, William Afton, of course being the face of the franchise alongside Freddy Fazbear. And one thing I've always noticed since I first ever watched this film is this guy is fucking terrifying. Like, I don't know if I'm going insane, because I am, but the way they portrayed him in this film, the way they built him up, his presence, like, this thing that, well, might not always be there, he's kind of always there, haunting the narrative. Like, in the film, they made this guy a fucking monster, and that's because he is. He's a child murderer. This version of William Afton, or more so the Spring Bonnie costume, is called the Yellow Rabbit in the film. A Spring Bonnie costume that has one side completely withered while the other side is clean. Its design really portrays Afton's personality perfectly, a facade, an absolute monster hiding behind what some might consider a nice man. And that is also shown in the performance given by the one and only Matthew Lillard, who is, honestly, casting of the fucking decade, dude. I don't make the rules. Like, holy hell, how? Matthew Lillard is brilliant as Afton. Not just brilliant, he's downright perfect. Like, oh, look at him, he's so wholesome, look at him. Oh my god, he just murdered his daughter. But I feel like I'm getting a bit ahead of myself. So, let's start with the very first film, and talk about why I feel like this fucking thing, is so damn cool. He's so cool! So to start out with the first film, Mr. Afton made his first appearance as Steve Raglan, offering a job to Mike, who, like all of us today, living in an economy, can't afford a shitty apartment. So Afton uses this as a tactic, taking advantage of the vulnerabilities that people have, especially when he assures Mike to give him a call, if he needs to. Also, one thing that is absolutely creepy is the fact when Steve is reading out Mike's name, he stops for a moment and just takes a good second to really stare at Mike. And the scene with the context is just, it's scary. It's oh my goodness. Not only does he remember the surname of one of his victims, he looks at Mike almost like he's comparing Garrett, and it's just like, oh, you do look similar. That's just utterly terrifying and extremely unsettling. Of course, only a murderer would know a surname of one of his victims decades later. There's also the name Steve Raglan, which is a little detail of Afton always putting on a facade, always being someone else. It was shown with Dave Milne in the novel trilogy and is interpreted the same here, always playing pretend. After that, Afton really isn't mentioned much in the first few nights. Sure, he acts as the phone guy giving out instructions with the same mannerism and charm to build up a false sense of security, with only a subtle hint of something more sinister behind that voice.
Yeah.
Fast forward into the film, we don't get to see or hear mention of Afton until Night 3's dream sequence, where the Golden Freddy kid draws on the ground, Mike asking for clues to who took his brother. And when Mike looks down at the drawing the kid made, we see a smiling rabbit crudely drawn on the dirt patch. And when this scene is shown, there's a sense of a foreboding threat that comes with this rabbit, emphasized by the sting that plays in shortly after Abby screams. Also forgot to mention that this rabbit is also seen at the very beginning of the film, with this significant drawing. He's also seen him in the intro. But this scene is kind of the first depiction of what is known as the Yellow Rabbit. On night 4, we can see Vanessa staring at the same picture with her looking rather distraught, with children singing followed by screams. Night 5 is when we get to see the absolute most of this Yellow Rabbit. In one scene in particular that really sells how terrifying this guy is the scene where Vanessa and Mike are at the police outpost. Mike catches on that Vanessa isn't being fully transparent. The animatronics animals he's come to know for these 5 nights attack him, almost try to kill him. But we learned that it's not really their fault. In fact, they were being manipulated, influenced to commit such heinous acts. Remember, these are just children inhabiting these suits, tortured children who probably didn't even know any better because they were rid of the last thing they had, and this monster used that against them. Mike snaps at Vanessa until she opens up on the truth.
The man who took them, he was a very bad man. Very cruel man. Also a very clever man.
This quote right here is terrifying and practically sums up William's character perfectly. Someone who is so deranged, so disgusting, a manipulator, a person who takes everything from the most vulnerable people and then more. Even after death, this disgusting human being still makes you suffer. Even after he takes everything and everyone away from you, he still finds more to take away. A person who walks into a room and then the room just decays of a rot. But yet, no one can notice that rot. No one can notice how disgusting this monster is, because he knows how to hide it. He knows how to weaponize the smallest amounts of fear, of dread. He hides himself so well, and so does his sins. A person who uses a human disguise while his true form is behind a pair of yellow rabbit ears.
He knew the parents would cry and the police would come looking, and he knew there's one place they'd never think to check because why would anyone? It's not just their ghosts that are inside of those machines. It's their bodies.
The way Vanessa almost breaks down when she reveals the bodies of the children were stuffed in the suits breaks me. With this echoing, haunting score that plays that really emphasizes just how much dread and pain this person caused. Not only did 5 children die, their families mourned and cried. The place that was all about fantasy and fun was then tarnished, and the worst thing is, none of them got a conclusion as to what happened, and that monster escaped with no repercussions. This scene I feel like mirrors one-to-one of how Henry describes William in Pizza Sim.
As if what he had already done wasn't enough. He found a new way to desecrate, to humiliate, to destroy. As if the suffering wasn't enough, the loss of innocence, the loss of everything to so many people. He set some kind of trap. I don't know what it was, but he led them there again. He overpowered them again. And he robbed them of the only thing that they had again.
And when this monster's name is fully revealed, it's not a person we are presented with. It's a yellow rabbit costume.
His name is William Afton.
His true side, his true nature. This photo is so eerie as well. You can tell even since she was a child, Vanessa knew the crimes her father committed, and when she thinks of the idea to confront him, she stumbles. She's terrified of him. Even when she's a police officer who has possession of a firearm, she knows that she's no use. This man not only destroyed the families of so many, but also traumatized them as well. Vanessa living with someone who knew what he was capable of doing, and living with this unbelievably heavy weight on her shoulders, that in itself is truly horrible. During the end of Night 5, we finally get to see this monster in its full view, as we hear when a foreboding step followed by what sounds like a heavy, uneven breathing, like a monster, and just under the archway. And just like that, you can easily tell this yellow rabbit is different compared to the other animatronic threats. He's immune to tasers and packs a hefty punch. He's also the only one that speaks. Lucky me! And of course, one of William's attributes is talking like a theater kid. Just talking absolute smack about you, trying to generate any reaction, any fear, because he feeds off that. He loves to play with his food. He speaks as if he's this Peter Shakespeare. Coming off as a complete loser is a leech that yearns for any form of attention to use against you.
Little ones tell me you have a sister. She will love it.
Vanessa, facing her trauma, stands up to her father, and what does Afton do to manipulate her? He pulls his mask off, hiding his true desire. behind flesh instead of a rabbit's mask. A face she is too familiar with. Not only that, but he spouts that this mess was her fault, even though he orchestrated the whole thing since the very start, using the smallest thing to antagonize her to manipulate her. But Vanessa refuses, after now realizing that his support for his crimes is now gone, and it's this one action that causes a butterfly effect to unfold. And to show how fragile William's ego is, he snaps when something as simple as not knowing how to count comes to bite him in the ass.
Kill him if he got too close.
That's 2 jobs.
With Abby showing the children what really happened and Vanessa holding him at bay, it seemed like this monster string of pain was coming to an end. William then stabs Vanessa, and with that he knew that he was truly alone, with no one else to cover up for his sins. The power goes out and back on again, as if this new light showed a new truth. Now his faults, his sins being put on full display as he becomes the spotlight of the show, with his crimes, his sins, slowly and all at once coming to swallow him whole. Even when he's cornered, he still tries to grab on anything as small to use against him.
Look how small you are! How worthless you are! You are wretched, rotten little beast! I made you!
And finally, he collapses under everything. A justice that is finally being served. A damnation of a demon, but also unexpectedly and more frighteningly, a transformation. Even after everything, Mike finally letting go of his past, realizing his mistakes to better himself for Abby, finally seeing the man who killed his brother bleed out on the floor, Vanessa who finally got to stop her monster of father, the children who finally get to see the end of the person that made them into the mechanical monsters they were, finally an ending to their story. Even after everything falls, bleeding there as his insides are torn to shreds and life fades away, even after everything finally comes to an end, all the pain he causes, he gets the last laugh.
I always come back.
As he puts on the mask and darkness surrounds him, seeing the glimpse of what is to come, he no longer has to hide. He has now fully transformed into this monster indefinitely, as he will rise again, not as a facade, but as a force of dread and oblivion of pain. Holy shit, this movie rocks! This movie really encapsulates this pathetic excuse of a man into an absolute nightmare. Like, again, going back to that police outpost scene, I think this is the best scene in the entire film. Just the way it tells us about this monster and how truly unforgivable he is. Not to mention that the yellow rabbit just testifies how long William's crimes has been going on for, as one side of the suit is completely withered. William is actively unraveling from a facade into a monster, and he's fully embracing it by the end of the film. Like, look at him, and even when his guts are being torn apart, he clenches his fist like, yes! Finally! You can tell that this was unfortunately the best outcome for him, because there would be no more planning. He can just kill, kill, and kill, spreading fear and sorrow throughout the lives of so many people, more than what he did before, only when he rises again. Matthew Little, you beautiful person, thank you for absolutely traumatizing me by playing the funny purple man from the game series I was obsessed with as a small child. Again, casting of the fucking decade, man. You can really tell they wanted not only to stay true to Afton's character, but really go into how disturbing he is as a villain. He is really someone who can't be forgiven, someone who has no chance of redemption. Now, this is also the part of the video where I talk about FNAF 2, so spoilers ahead! At least in the trailers. The movie isn't out yet, but holy fucking shit, I have no idea how they made a trailer better than the entire full-length first movie, but they did! Blumhouse, Emma, and Scott Reginald Coffin did it, and they made him more terrifying! Look at him! We are seeing Charlie fucking die, bro. This is the Maria death scene from Sonic, but for FNAF fans. The theater is gonna go wild when they see a child die. Hello, let's take a break from my video voice and let's get real. Thank you so much for getting to the end of this video. Please leave a like and subscribe because I have some other videos like this. So yeah, they're pretty cool. I put a lot of time and work into these. So yeah, yeah, a little support goes a long way. And if you're hearing this, no, I'm not recording this at 4 AM. I'm recording this at 10 PM. There's a difference. I'm getting better sleep now. But thank you again for watching to the end of this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. And yeah. Have a good night, have a good day, whatever it is. Thank you for enjoying this video. At least I hope you enjoyed it. As you can tell, I don't really have a proper outro for this. I don't really know. The second film's coming out very soon. To celebrate the release, I'm gonna dress up as Shadow Bonnie because that's the easiest fit I could maintain. Anyway, I hope you all have a I really fucking thank you for watching the video. Bye.